Chapter: Dreams are the creation of the future.
Now that I learned about Anastasia's feelings and her desire to prove that she was a natural and ordinary person, no matter how very unusual she was, I realized the pain I had inflicted on her soul that morning. I apologized to her again, and Anastasia replied that she wasn't angry. But now, after what I'd done, she was afraid for me. "How could you have done something so terrible?" I asked. And once more I heard a story that someone wishing to seem as normal as all the people living in our world should not lay out in earnest, because no one says this about himself.
When the ship left and the local youth headed for the village, I stood on the bank for a while alone, and I felt good. Then I ran into the forest. The day passed as usual, but in the evening, when the stars came out, I lay down on the grass and began to daydream, and that was when I came up with this plan.
What plan is that?
You have to understand that what I know is known in part by various people of the world you live in, and taken together they know almost everything, only they don't understand the mechanism completely. That was when I dreamed you would go to a big city and tell many people about me and about what I've explained to you. You would do this using the same methods you usually use to convey all kinds of information there, and you would write a book. Lots and lots of people would read it, and the truth would be revealed to them. They would start being sick less, change their attitude toward children, and develop a new method of teaching for them. People would love more, and the earth would emit more light energy. Artists would draw my portrait, and that would be the best they had ever drawn. I would try to inspire them. They would make what you call a movie, and it would be the most beautiful movie ever. You would look at all this and think of me. Scientists would come to see you who would understand and appreciate what I told you about, and they would explain a lot to you. You would believe them more than me, and you would understand that I'm no witch but a person. It's just that there is more information inside me than others. What you wrote would arouse great interest, and you would be rich. You would have money in the banks of 19 countries. And you would make a pilgrimage to holy places and cleanse yourself of all the darkness inside you. You would think of me and love me, and you would want to see me and your son again. You would want to be worthy of your son. My dream was very vivid, but also possibly a little selfish. That is probably why all this happened. They took it as a plan of action, and decided to move people across the dark forces span of time. That could happen if the detailed plan were born on Earth, in the soul and thoughts of an earthly man. They probably perceived the plan as grandiose, and they themselves might have added something to it, so the dark forces powerfully set their work in motion. Nothing like this has ever happened before. I realized this from the ringing cedar. Its ray has become much thicker, and it's ringing even more powerfully now. It's in a hurry to give off its light and energy.
I listened to Anastasia, and at that moment, the thought that she was not normal gained an even greater foothold in me. Maybe she had escaped a long time ago from some hospital and was living here in the forest, but I had also slept with her. Now a child might be born. Quite a story. Nevertheless, seeing how serious and agitated she was as she spoke, I tried to calm her. "Don't worry, Anastasia. Your plan is obviously unfeasible, so there's no reason for the forces of darkness and light to struggle. You don't know enough detail about our ordinary life, its laws and conventions. The problem is that we publish a great many books these days, but people don't buy even the works of famous writers very much. I'm no writer. I don't have the talent, abilities, or education to write anything there."
Yes, Vladimir, you didn't have them before, but now you do.
"Fine. Even if I do try, no one is going to publish it or believe in your existence."
But I do exist. I exist for those I exist for. They will believe and help you just as I will help them later. And together with those people we will.
The meaning of her sentence was not clear to me right away, and once again I tried to reassure her. "I'm not even going to try to write anything. There's no point. Eventually, you'll have to understand that."
You will. They have clearly composed an entire system of circumstances that will compel you to do it.
What, you think I'm a pawn in someone's hands?
And a lot depends on you. but the dark forces will try to prevent you using every means at their disposal, up to and including pushing you towards suicide and creating the illusion of despair.
That's it, Anastasia. I've had enough listening to your fantasies.
You think these are fantasies?
Yes, fantasies. And I stopped myself short. A thought relating to time blazed up in my mind, and I understood. Everything Anastasia had been telling me about her dreams were things she had thought last year, when I still didn't know her as well as I did now and hadn't slept with her. Now, a year later, it had come to pass. So you mean everything's already happening?
Naturally. If it hadn't been for them, and a little for me, your second expedition would have been impossible. After all, you were barely making ends meet after the first one, and you no longer had any rights to the ship.
You mean you influenced the shipping company? The firms that helped me?
Yes, I influenced the shipping company.
Then you ruined me and harmed them. What right do you have to interfere? On top of that, I left the ship and I'm sitting here with you. They could be stealing me blind. You must know how to hypnotize. No, something even worse. You're a witch, full stop, or a crazy hermit. You have nothing, not even a home, and you're philosophizing here in front of me, you sorceress. I'm an entrepreneur. Do you have any idea what that is? I'm an entrepreneur. I may perish, but my ships are still on the river, bringing people goods. I'm the one supplying them, giving people the goods they need, and I could for you too. And what can you give me?
Me? What can I give you? I can give you a drop of heavenly kindness and peace. You will be a clear-eyed genius. I am your image.
Image? And who needs it? Your image. What good comes of that?
It could help you write your book for people.
Oh, please, again with your mysticism.
I never do anything bad to anyone. I couldn't. I'm a human being. If you're so concerned about earthly goods and money, then wait a little longer and it will all come back to you. I'm guilty before you for dreaming so, and because you're going to have a hard time for a while, but somehow nothing else came to mind then. You don't see the logic. You have to be compelled by the circumstances of your world.
Oh, please. You mean you're still going to try to force me? You're doing this, but you still want to appear an ordinary human being.
I am a human being, a woman.
Anastasia was agitated, as was evident from the way she exclaimed,
I have only wanted what is good and light. I wanted you to be cleansed. That's why I came up with the idea then of a pilgrimage to holy places and a book. They accepted it, and the dark forces are always struggling with them, but they never win on the main thing.
Are you telling me that with your intellect, information, and energy, you're going to stand on the sidelines as an observer?
Given the degree of conflict between the two great principles, the effect from my efforts is insignificantly small. Help is needed from many others from your world. I'm going to search for them and find them, the way I did when you were in the hospital. Only you have to get a little more conscious of yourself too. Fight what is indecent in yourself.
What is so awful about me? What bad thing did I do in the hospital? And how did you heal me if you weren't there?
At the time, you simply didn't sense my presence, but I was by your side. When I was on the ship, I brought you the branch from the ringing cedar that my mama had broken off before she died. I left it in your cabin when you invited me there. You were already sick then. I could tell. Do you remember the branch?
Yes. The branch really did hang in my cabin for a long time. Many of the crew saw it. I took it to Novosibirsk, but I didn't lend it any significance.
You just threw it out.
I didn't know.
That's right. You didn't know. You threw it out. And my mama's branch didn't have time to vanquish your disease. Then you lay in the hospital. When you get back, take a close look at your case history. You'll see on the chart that although they used the very best medicine, there was no improvement. But later, they brought you cedar nut oil. The doctor, who followed medical protocols strictly, shouldn't have done it, but he did what does not exist in a single one of your medical prescription manuals, and has actually never been done at all. Do you remember?
Yes, I remember.
You were treated by the woman who was in charge of one of the best clinics in your city. But her department has no connection with your ailment. She kept you there, even though one floor up in the same building was the department for your ailment. Right? She stuck needles in you, turning on music in the half-dark room while she was doing it.
Anastasia was saying everything that had in fact happened to me.
Do you remember that woman?
Yes, she was in charge of the former provincial party hospital.
What kind of music do you like? Good, like this? It's not too loud?
She said those sentences in the voice and intonation of the doctor who had treated me. Anastasia, I exclaimed.
Keep listening, for God's sake, don't be so surprised. Please try. Try at last to understand what I'm telling you. Rouse your intellect just a little. All this so far is very simple for man.
She continued.
This woman doctor, she is very good. She's a real doctor. I got along easily with her. She's good and open. It was I who didn't want you moved to a different department. The other was profiled for your ailment and hers wasn't. And she said to her superiors, leave him here and I'll heal him. She sent she could. She knew your ailments were merely a consequence of the other, and she tried to fight the other. She was a doctor. And how did you behave? You continued to smoke, drink whatever you want, eat spicy and salty food, and all this despite a bad ulcer. You denied yourself nothing, no pleasures whatsoever. Somewhere in your consciousness it's set in, though you yourself have no suspicion, that you're not afraid of anything, and nothing will happen to you. I did nothing good. The opposite, more than likely. The darkness in your consciousness did not diminish, but consciousness and will did not increase either. When you were well, you sent your employee to wish her, the woman who saved your life, a happy holiday, and you yourself never called her even once. She was waiting for that. She loved you like...
She or you, Anastasia?
We, if that's more understandable to you.
I stood up, and not knowing why, took a couple steps away from Anastasia, who was sitting on a fallen tree. A mixture of feelings and thoughts had given rise to increasing vagueness in my attitude toward her.
Once again you don't understand how I can do this. You're frightened. But it's easy to guess that I do it with my imagination, and by accurately analyzing all the possible situations. And once again, you thought I...
She fell silent and bowed her head over her knees. I stood in silence and thought, why does she keep saying all these unbelievable things? She says them and gets upset that they're incomprehensible. Evidently, she doesn't understand that no normal person could accept them, and consequently, her, as normal. Then I did walk up to Anastasia and brush aside the lock of hair that had fallen on her face. Tears slipped from Anastasia's big grey-blue eyes. She smiled and said something unlike her.
What a woman, right? Right now you're amazed by the very fact of my existence and can't believe your eyes. You don't believe completely and can't grasp what I'm telling you. The fact of my existence and my abilities seem astonishing to you. You've completely ceased to perceive me as a normal human being. And believe me, Vladimir, I'm a human being, and no witch. You consider my way of life astonishing. But why doesn't the other seem astonishing and paradoxical? Why do people, who deem the earth a cosmic body, the greatest creation of the supreme reason, each process of which is his greatest achievement, torment and put such effort into damaging it? A man-made spaceship or airplane seems natural to you, but that entire piece of equipment is made from the broken and smelted parts of the greatest living natural mechanism. Imagine a being who smashes up a flying airplane to make himself a hammer or scraper from the parts, and is proud if his primitive tool works out. That being doesn't understand that you can't go on smashing an airplane indefinitely. How can you not understand that you can't torment our Earth like that? The computer is considered a triumph of reason, but few suspect that a computer is like a brain prosthesis. Can you imagine what would happen to a person if he used crutches while having normal legs? The muscles of his legs would atrophy, of course. A machine could never surpass a human brain that's constantly in training.
Anastasia wiped away the tear slipping down her cheek with the palm of her hand, and once again continued persistently to set forth her incredible conclusions. At the time, I could not have guessed that everything she said would excite many people and rouse scientists' minds, and even as a hypothesis, would have no analogue in the world. According to Anastasia, The sun is something like a mirror. It reflects the emanation, invisible to the eye, that comes from the earth. This emanation comes from people who are in a state of love, joy, and certain other emotions of light. Reflected off the sun, they return to earth in the form of sunlight and give life to everything earthly. She cited a number of arguments, although they were not that easy to understand.
If the Earth and the other planets used only the grace of the sun's light, the sun would go out, burn unevenly, and its illumination would not be uniform. There is no unilateral process in the universe, nor could there be. Everything is interrelated.
And she also took words from the Bible.
And the life was the light of men.
Anastasia also said that feelings were transmitted from one person to another by reflecting off cosmic bodies. She demonstrated this with an example.
No one living on Earth can deny that he can feel when someone loves him. This feeling is more palpable when you're next to the person who loves you. You call this intuition. In fact, invisible waves of light emanate from the person who loves you. But even when that person is not nearby, if his love is strong, it is also palpable. With the help of this feeling, by understanding its nature, you can work miracles. This is what you call miracles, mysticism, or incredible abilities. Tell me, Vladimir, did you just feel a little better with me? Lighter, warmer, fuller?
Yes, for some reason I felt warmer.
Now look what happens to you when I focus even more on you.
Anastasia lowered her eyelashes slightly, slowly took a few steps back, and stopped. A pleasant warmth flooded my body. It intensified but didn't burn. It wasn't too hot. Anastasia turned and started to move away slowly, hiding behind the thick trunk of a tall tree. The pleasant warmth did not diminish, but something new was added. It was as if something were helping my heart drive the blood through my veins, and now with each beat I had the impression that streams of blood were instantly reaching every vein in my body. I broke out in a heavy sweat, and my feet became wet.
There, you see. Now do you understand it all?
A triumphant Anastasia said as she emerged from behind the tree, confident she had proven something.
After all, you did feel when I went behind the tree's trunk, and our feelings even intensified when you didn't see me. Tell me about them.
I told her and then asked, "What does the tree trunk prove?"
What do you mean? The waves of information and light were going straight from me to you. When I hid, the tree trunk should have distorted them powerfully, since it has its own information and illumination. But that didn't happen. The waves of feeling fell on you, reflected off cosmic bodies, and even intensified. Then I performed what you call a miracle. Your feet began to sweat. You hid that from me.
I didn't think it was important. What's the miracle in feet sweating?
I drove all kinds of ailments out of your organism through your feet. You should be feeling much better now. Even outwardly it's noticeable. You're less round-shouldered.
Indeed, I did feel better physically. You mean you concentrate like that, you dream, and you get what you want?
Basically. More or less.
And this always works for you, even when you dream of something other than healing?
Always. Unless it's an abstract dream. If it's detailed down to the smallest events and doesn't contradict the laws of spiritual being. That kind of dream can't always be constructed. Your thoughts have to go very, very fast, and there have to be the corresponding vibration of feelings. Then it will definitely come to pass. This is natural. This happens to many in their life. Ask people you know. You may find among them those who have dreamed something, and that dream has come true, either wholly or in part.
The details and my thoughts have to race very fast. Tell me, when you dreamed of poets, artist, and the book, did you detail those? Did you think your thoughts fast?
Extraordinarily fast. And all specifically in the tiniest detail.
And now, do you think it will come true?
Yes, I do.
Were you dreaming of anything else then? Have you told me everything about your dreams?
No, I haven't.
Then tell me everything.
You want to hear what I have to say, Vladimir? Is that true?
Yes. Anastasia's face beamed, as if illuminated by a flash of light. Inspired and excited, she launched into her incredible monologue.
End of chapter. Join us for the next segment of Anastasia. Book 1 of the Ringing Cedar series, Across the Dark Forces Span of Time.